All right, we back like we never left. Let's see again if we could get this right. Well, better yet, welcome to Real Talk with Voice Mr. Reality, aka Greg Delaney. We are going to be here with the one and only Mr. Kevin Thornton, the wellness architect. And let's go ahead and pull this man in and see if we can have this amazing conversation. See what we're going to do. Once again, we appreciate each and every one of y'all who are checking in. This is a conversation, real life conversation with real people that do real things. The whole point of this is literally to have conversations with amazing people who day to day do amazing things. Now, if you are on and you could hear me, I am glad that you are here. We're waiting for the one and only Mr. Kevin Thornton to pull up, and then we'll go from there. And we have the amazing Miss Kim, aka Treat Me Sweet, who is also going to be a guest on the show here shortly. Miss Crystal online. So once again, just waiting for that request. And Kevin, if you can, man, please go ahead and send that request one more time. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Now I got you. How you doing there, sir?
Great. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. First of all, let me tell you, thank you, man, for being a part of the show, for agreeing to come on and have a real conversation with me.
No, thank you for being obedient to what you saw through our conversation. Um, your first show was amazing,
Thank
uh, which I knew because I had interviewed Gerard J. myself as well, so I knew what he can bring to the table in conversation. With y'all knowing each other made it better for me because I learned a little more about him that I didn't learn when I interviewed him. But you did a great job, brother. So,
you.
and
Well, right on, man.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Now, you're still a little low on my end, so we're just going to make it work. We're going to try to do what we can. But I could hear you so much better than before.
Right.
So, for the people who do not know you, um, who are you, sir, and what do you do?
All right. So my name is Kevin Thornton. I'm the wellness architect. I am a life coach and a holistic health coach. My intention is to inspire, educate, and empower people to become the best version of themselves, mind, body, and spirit. I focus a lot on black men. I believe our black men needs to be healed and help them become um, the leaders and walk in their greatness that they were created to be. I'm an author. I'm a podcaster. Um, I'm just the overall dude that's just trying to live his purpose.
And you also done some radio work too. Is that
I do. Uh, I do like internet radio. So I used to work for a station called Status Network. I'm thinking about going back to them, but currently right now I've been focusing mostly on my podcasting.
okay? So, Mr. Thornton, you've seen the show and you had interviewed Jared before, Gerard
Mm-hmm.
before. And when you had done the interview with him, you said that it was an amazing interview. You had learned a lot. Um, but outside of you doing the interviews and things of that nature, when you watched the show with him and I,
Mm-hmm.
what was it that stood out to you about that show?
The authenticity of both people, of you and him. Um, I think nowadays people are not very authentic and being fearful of being judged, or being fearful of um, people scrutinizing them being their true authentic self, you know. Um, and so with that, it was very refreshing to see two men have a conversation and be truly authentic and let their guards down and tell them, let people see who they really are and their struggles and what they deal with, so everybody knows they're not the only ones that go through the same things that they're going through.
Now, I don't know if you can see in the comments, but someone said you sound very low, and I thought it was just me because I was having issues with my phone.
Can you
But
hear me? Is it better now?
it gets better, but it kind of gets low again. So
Okay. Let me see. What about now? It's still low.
it gets better when you get a little bit louder. I don't know, man. You might have to yell at me this whole show.
All right, I'll just go ahead and yell loudly. Okay. Is
Yeah,
that better?
and, yeah. It's unfortunate, man, because I really want people to hear you, and I don't want it to be any distractions from what we're doing, um, as far as getting the sound together. So, um, hopefully, we could figure it out. It kicks in at some point. So now, two things. You're a life coach, and well, and I read you are a holistic
Health coach.
health coach.
Yes, sir.
Now, what qualifies the holistic part of the health coaching?
Um, just understanding you. It's from a mind, body, and spirit whole situation when you eat it. So first of all, I believe that food heals you, and so therefore you tend to have to be more um, intentional on what you're eating, and because a lot of stuff, a lot of the illnesses that we have can be healed by the food we eat. We
Mm,
choose not to eat those foods because it may not taste good, it may not look good, or whatever situation may be, but we can be our own healers of our own illnesses if we just choose to eat better and be better. And in that comes the mindset as well, because we have to have a positive thoughts while we're in the process of eating and doing what we're trying to do.
okay. Now, one of the things that we're going to do real quick, because you still sound really low to me. So, it, is there a mic? Are you using a mic, or are you just using the phone?
Phone.
And see, I don't know what it is because I was having problems bringing you up originally.
Uh,
Um, I really want to hear you, man, and I want everybody to hear what you're saying because it's kind of like I said, it's hard to catch in. So we're gonna try this one more time.
okay.
Back out, and I'm gonna pull you back up. And in the meantime, I'm gonna pull someone else back. I'm gonna pull someone else in and see if it's my sound on my end or if it's something that maybe we could fix on yours.
Okay. All right.
And let's do that. All right. Now, if you are watching and you give me access to pull you in real quick, uh, hopefully you ain't got your hair all over your head. You ain't looking crazy. But let me just pull you in real quick and see if I could get audio. Um, See if it's my audio or if it's the audio with the live itself, and then we can see what it is. Um, any takers? Anybody willing to to come in and test the audio with me? Feel free to just raise your hand and let me know that you you will. Um, or no, I get it. It's not necessarily always good to be on the spot. Like I need you to do it now. But let's see if we could get this audio together. Um, well, hello, how are you?
Hey, how are you, sir? Can you hear me okay?
The audio does sound good. Okay.
Okay, I'm
No,
out.
all right. Well, thank you for discussing with me.
But
See, that's what I'm talking about. You got to have somebody in your pocket, in your corner, who like shows up for you, who could make it work. Um, all right. So, Mr. Thornton, it ain't me. It got to be your phone, man. Um, but we're gonna see if we can get this together one more time. And it's not giving me the option for the invite. But as long as I got y'all here, man, let me tell you, um, it snowed in Houston, like 2 inches in Houston. Now, I thought that I had moved away from Denver to get away from that. Obviously, that's not the case. we had snow. But it was good. It was nostalgic being from Denver and actually seeing it snow. Uh, and I know Atlanta got snow, New Orleans got snow. They was out there partying in the snow. Now everybody thinks it's cute if it's just a once in a lifetime thing, but when it happens on a regular basis is when things get a little tricky. Away from Denver to get away from that, obviously. Oh, see that's not the case. I could hear you and I could hear me. It was good. It was nostalgic. Well, I think we was gonna have some great audio. It was just I was the audio. So, man, we're gonna continue to work it out. That poetry, John. What up? Good to see y'all in the building, man. Welcome to Real Talk, conversations with real people about real things. Um, and introducing you to some amazing people I've met in my life and some amazing people I'm meeting now. Mr. Thornton,
Yes, sir. How about that? How about
come
now?
on now, man. You must got Verizon, huh? Now look,
Hear me better now?
absolutely,
Good.
absolutely. And I'm glad that we can, because man, I didn't want to spend this conversation straining to hear you, because it takes away from me being able to concentrate on the things that you said.
Right.
Um, Now, for those people who are just pulling in, just seeing, we are having a conversation with the one and only Mr. Amazing. Are you currently in Atlanta, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Currently in Atlanta, he is a holistic health coach. He is a life coach. He is an author. He is a podcaster. He is a radio personality. He also is a journalist. He is a. Did I see somewhere on your profile that you break dance too?
I wish.
All right, maybe the break dancing was a little bit much. Um, But, Mr. Kevin Thornton, welcome, man. I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Now, when we had asked previously, the volume was a little low. I asked what qualifies you to be a holistic health coach. What qualifies for a holistic health coach?
So, holistic health culture is pretty much dealing with your food, what you eat, uh, because that dictates your healing, but also understanding your blood type as well. Because a lot of times when I make meal plans for people, one of the questions I ask them is their blood type. So
Hmm.
based on your blood type, it determines what I will put in your meal plan or what I would not put in your meal plan. So people like me who are blood type O, we're carnivores, so I can't really give you. I If you choose to, I can give you a vegan meal plan, but we crave meat. But if you're blood type A, you're more of a vegetarian type person, so I'll give you more of like a vegetarian vegan like a meal plan.
No.
But
What,
go ahead.
what was your studies in school to get you to that point, or how did you get to that?
Well, when I was growing up, my father has always been into like holistic living, where he'll use like apple cider vinegar and stuff like that to like heal a sprained ankle, all that type of stuff, and peppermint tea for our headaches, all that type of stuff. So he started and planted the seed for me, and so then I went to the Integrated Institute of Nutrition and got my certification for holistic health. I got that after I got certified to be a life coach. So
Okay.
I felt they both intertwined with each other.
Now, the life coach, the process to become a life coach, what does that look like?
So first, I had went to college, got my master's in psychology, but I went online and got a certification through a life coaching certification. It took like 6 months, and I had to do like some pro bono uh, sessions with people just to get my feet wet and coaching people stuff like that. And then I had to take a test at the end to say I knew my stuff. But I started or I felt obligated to be a life coach because I moved to Atlanta in 2009. Around 2010, I was going to a boot camp class outside, and I was waiting for my gym instructor, and I listened to Michael Baisden, and at that time he had Iyanla Van Zant on there, and she said that she felt led to offer a free 9-week coaching session the first 100 black men that responded. I responded, and I got coached by her and her team for like 9 weeks, and that's when I realized that was my assignment to do, was to be a coach and help our community become their best version.
First of all, that's amazing, man. Congratulations on that journey. Now, I understand that you got your degree in psychology.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Um,
sir.
now, even with going to get your degree in psychology and things of that nature, did you feel like you were always that friend that people came to have conversations about or look to advice for, or was you that one who was always looking for the answers?
I was the one everybody came to.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I was always the one everybody talked to. Like everybody said, I was a great listener. Everybody said I gave great advice. I tried not to be biased, so I give my answer based off of what I feel is factual and true. So therefore, people know if they come to me, they're gonna get a real answer. Now, on the flip side, my friends also know that I'm gonna tell the truth all the time. So then, therefore, if they don't want to hear the truth, they don't come to me.
Yeah, don't go to Kev if you want the truth. Well, go to Kev if you want the truth. Just don't go if you can't handle it.
Exactly.
Hmm. I can understand that. I would like to believe I am somewhat in that territory. You know, I got the name Reality is my pen name for poetry, but it stuck with me, of course, throughout. And then it turned into things with the MC and then the hosting and stuff to that nature. But it always gave me the freedom to be able to speak honestly because they'd be like, "Oh, you're Reality. I know you're gonna tell me the real. What do you think?" And I don't know if they should have given me that title because a lot of people got some real honest opinions they probably didn't ask for. But it is what it is. So, Mr. Kevin,
Mm-hmm.
with you being in Atlanta and doing the holistic health, also doing the life coach, have you seen a need for um, life coaching? And I'm I try not to focus so much on the youth because I don't feel me personally that the youth is our issue currently. I feel that the peers are issue, but do you feel like that you've run into adults that need life coaching more than you have the teenagers or the younger generation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Most of my clients are in their 30s.
Mm,
Most of my clients are in their 30s. Most of my clients are men who did not have a father for whatever reason. And they're struggling with self-esteem issues because what people don't realize is when you have a when you have a parent missing uh, for whatever reason, that tends to affect the child's self-esteem, especially if the father is not there because he chose not to be there or whatever. But then they're going to feel like they're not worthy enough of love because the father chose not to be in their lives. But then that's why you see a lot of guys with self-esteem issues. That's why you see a lot of guys dealing with, the need to have validation. They need to be validated and feel that they're enough because the father wasn't there to pour into them that they were worthy. So
yeah. Now I have a
yeah, so
question. I have a question for you. Was both of your parents in the home?
absolutely,
I'm sorry.
yes, sir.
Okay. And so with that being said, with you being a life coach, a lot of people would look at you and just imagine that because of what you do, that your life is amazing, that you have all the answers. Is that a misconception?
It is a misconception because at the end of the day, we're still human beings. So even though I'm a life coach, I'm still on my own personal journey. So through that, it's going to be trials and tribulations that I will go through. The only difference is I have the tools to use on myself to help me make it through those trials and tribulations.
Now, do you feel like it's easier for you to look to someone else to give you those tools or to look inside because you constantly give this to everyone else. So I know it gets repetitive in a sense, right? But do you do you feel like sometimes the people you're talking to that you're talking to yourself as well and you get gemmed from that and say, hey, I could probably apply that myself.
Mm-hmm. I what? I tend to use outside sources that come down to myself because sometimes I might have a blind spot that I don't see, but
Mhm.
they can see in me, and so then therefore they could give me a gem that could apply to me that I probably wouldn't saw because it might be a blind spot that I didn't see of myself. So I'm very open of other people, and I believe if people are looking into getting a life coach, one of the questions they should ask the life coach is one, have they ever been coached before? Two, they have a coach now
Mhm.
because you don't want to go to somebody who's never been coached before. So they don't understand the process. But then therefore they're not gonna be sympathetic and empathetic to you guys in your journey. Because, you know, that it was funny because when Iyanla had her show, Iyanla Fix My Life, it was a running joke. I said, whose life did she fix? Because we watched the show, it was like, dramatics, all type of stuff like that. That's real. It's because when we start to dig into your traumas and the pain, everybody can't handle it. So a
Mhm.
lot of times people feel they're ready to be coached, but then they realize the stuff they gotta go through in the journey to be healed, they tend to give up. So it's not our fault. It's just the fact that you guys are not ready a lot of times because you gotta deal with, you know, the hurt feelings of, you know, being abandoned by your dad or hurt feelings of, being molested by someone and that which is now causing you to be hypersexual. You know, those are a lot of things that men are going through. Nobody knows that. Those are the top two things, abandonment and molestation, that men, black men, are dealing with, and nobody really knows it.
Yeah.
So when you see a guy that's hypersexual, who always got to have sex, he part 9 times out of 10 he's been molested.
Yeah. Now, real quick, I don't know if you noticed this, but like in the comments, there are people who were saying that they're having problems hearing you, and can you speak up as well?
All
And
right,
and
is it better
I'm
now?
struggling to hear you, but I'm locked in. So
Is it better now?
it is, man. If we could keep it there, it'd be great.
All right. So I got to keep on yelling. All right, I got you.
Yeah, and here's the thing, man. You got to project. You're a public speaker, like you used to doing this. Give me that stage. So two things. Let's start off. Um, for one, the molestation in the black community that happens to men is something that for a long time has seemed taboo.
Mhm.
Um, but what's scarier than that is that it's prevalent and that you know, it has been for quite some time. And we're not talking about, just men who's been molested by other men. We're talking about men who've been molested by women in their family. And so real talk, right? Um, I was molested by women in my family, you know, and it's crazy to say this, but by God's grace, it wasn't, I wasn't molested by any men, but I had been molested by some of the women in my family. Um, and it did it affected me terribly, and I didn't even realize how bad it had affected me till I got older in relationships and I realized that I really cannot stand. I cringe at the thought of sexually aggressive women because those are the kind of women that molested me. Also, my father wasn't around, abandoned in a sense, right? So I did also, if you heard me speaking with, you know, JJ about having that feeling of if your own father doesn't want you, who would love you? That is something that a lot of us, not only just men but women too, we deal with, but it's really prevalent in the black man, and the black males community. So when you run into people who have this issue, and I hate to put you on blast like that, but were you ever molested?
No, sir.
And your father was in your life; he was prevalent.
He's still in my life. He's 83 years
Oh,
old.
okay,
So
come on,
he's
OG. So with that being said, how do you relate to people who have experiences that you've never been through?
you know the journey. that God put me on, prepared me for this. And so, what it comes down to the molestation is all about trust. They a lot of times y'all don't trust anybody, especially like one situation I had was the guy was molested and he was molested by his mom's boyfriend, and he was strong enough to tell his mother what happened, but the mother chose the boyfriend over him. But therefore, he felt some kind of way that so he two things. He don't trust people, and then had a, then he started disliking women because if the mother who brought him into this world he could never trust, he can't trust. He felt he couldn't trust no woman, and so we had to like unpack all those feelings. And even though I never experienced that, just the fact that I have a listening ear and I'm sympathetic and empathetic to the situation made him feel better. And all he needed was to be able to release, you know, the feelings. And so a lot of times, I give him a safe space to say how he felt. I say, how did you feel when your mother chose the other man over you, and your experience? You know, he broke down because he felt like, how dare my mom choose this man over me when he did this to me? And so, you know, we had to like talk it through and constantly talk it through until he felt like he he had a healing space. And so from there, we were able to talk about like for the guys and women who deal with abandonment.
Yeah.
My thing is, if the father's not around, period, I'll say, let's say I'll talk to you. I, I'll say, Greg, talk to me as if I'm your dad. Tell me how I made you feel not being in your life. No holds barred. And they go in.
Yeah.
They go in on me, but then they start crying. By the time they get finished going in, say if they have to say, they start crying
Yeah.
because they hurt. And I tell them, keep crying because I need you to release all that pain.
Right.
And so once they are able to say and speak how they felt and they release, they feel much better and they are able to move on in their life.
Yeah. Now, real quick, so I'm a mental health advocate, and I went through my courses for the mental health first aid responder and things to that nature. And one of the things, and even with poetry, because poetry has been my therapy for quite some time. Um, One of the things that I'm taking from your conversation, and if anybody's watching who's going to watch this later, whatever it may be, what I'm taking from your conversation is giving them that safe space to speak how they feel.
Right.
Because what a lot of people don't realize is that there's healing in letting go, right? And for me, that's what poetry was, because I could put it on paper. And then once I said it out loud, it became my poetry, my art, not my problem. And then once I spoke it, I could let it go. And, for a lot of people, they just feel like there's a lot of individuals who just need that space to be able to say it out loud and know that somebody heard them. And the thing about it is that, you know, I also spoke at counseling sessions with the youth and things of that nature. And it was like, hey, if you don't have nobody to talk to, write it down. And then I want you to read it out loud. Then I want you to tear it up and write the next version of it. Then I want you to read it out loud. There's a process in that, like you said, realizing, verbalizing, and letting go. Um, you know, One of the greatest things, and what I'm looking at right now is Zen underscore bound has said that, their son finally opened his journal and wrote in it during Christmas break. That is something that I encourage not only the children to do, but do you not know as grown men, brother, how many times I literally sit with my tongue at the top of my mouth, and I'm a poet and I'm very outspoken. right? Sit with my tongue at the top of my mouth because there's so much I want to say that I don't know where to start and I don't know how to be received and, things to that nature. Um, and I'm glad that you're here, you know, having this conversation about some of the things that you've seen and you've witnessed. Um, and I hope that that individual that you had that session with, I hope that he, is in his healing process and things are going great.
He's
Um,
doing amazing. He's doing amazing.
but, but one of the things that this live is about, Zanel, is literally about having conversation with real people about real things. You're a life coach, you're an author, you're a holistic health coach. But when it all goes to work and you're putting all this into other people, who pours into you, Mr. Thornton?
Good question.
Don't get yourself up. Come on now, I get emotional too.
Good question, because that's what a lot of my friends be concerned about, because they know I take on a lot when I coach people. They want to know, who do I talk to, and I have a couple people that when it's my time, I go see them, and I pour into them. I let go what I'm struggling with, or what let go, everything that I may have heard and dealt with, because a lot of times I gotta stay strong while I'm dealing with these people. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I feel pain for them, because they're struggling, and you see these men that want to do better and want to be better, but they got these issues that they have to deal with, and to see the pain in them, it kind of burdens me at times. So then, therefore, I go to a friend that I can talk to. That's my safe space, and I'll go sit in the chair like and she'll just sit there and look at me, and she said, "Go ahead and talk." And I'll sit there and I'll probably talk for like an hour or two, and just release everything I need to release, and then I'll feel better, and I'll go back to war and help out these
Yeah.
people.
Now, with you constantly going to war, and what it sounds like is, you're filling your filling your cup with everybody else's issues and concerns. Then you go pour them out, and your cup is empty again, and you're back ready to take on more. Are there ever times where you personally feel like your cup is overflown, and you were struggling to be in a space where you to be positive and be uplifting for people because it was so heavy on you, or you were going through something that you felt like maybe you didn't have it to give to someone else?
Um, no, I have not. Knock on wood, just yet. I haven't done anything like that to where I was on empty, to where I couldn't help anybody else, or I felt like I was just drained. Um, Knock on wood, you know. But I think the only thing that it was for me was back in 2017. I got bit by a poisonous spider and put me in the hospital for 30 days. And so, um, what was crazy was, while I was in the hospital, you know, they took my phone, so I had no access to people contacting me. People didn't know I was in the hospital. So for 30 days, nobody knew I was in the hospital. All I had was my nurses and the doctors to talk to. And so one day the chaplain comes in, and she said, "Mr. Thornton, are you okay? You need when we talk to you about anything?" And I'm like, "I'm good." And she said, "But you have nobody to talk to. You know, your family don't know you're sick. Um, how are you okay?" I said, "Because it's all part of my journey." And so she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I was grinding really hard, and I was not listening to the spirit to tell me to slow down. So since I didn't choose not to slow down, he slowed me down, and he didn't want me to have anybody coming to me to talk to me, because he wanted all that time to talk to me. So I had 30 days to talk to God, to figure out what I need to do from this point forward, once I leave the hospital.
Yeah. And so, first of all, it's it's crazy that you were there 30 days and didn't nobody notice you was, you know, you know, down and out. I'm sorry for that. But then it's a blessing because you technically you was fasting for 30 days.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, you were fasting for 30 days. You didn't have your phone, you didn't have the outside influences, and you were able to have that conversation and meditate. Because a lot of people think that prayer is about asking God for what you want and going about your day. But a lot of if you paid attention to prayer, is about the meditation because you could ask all you want. You could keep talking, but if you're never quiet enough to receive it and actually hear, then you'll miss a lot of it, right?
So,
Um, and it's good for me to have this conversation and say this now because I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm a reverend and nothing like that. I done been in it, and I don't know how old you are, brother. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 52.
Jesus, no, I'm just playing. Okay, so 50, so 52 years old. I'm 48, man. And the thing about it is that life will slow you down if you can't find the pace to do it yourself, right? But when you went through that whole process of that 30 days of sitting with you and God, was there any epiphanies that came out of that 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 quiet time, that bonding time with Jesus? Was there any what revelation came out of that for you?
Well, I was trying to be in control of everything and not understand that he's in control, right? So during that time, I was life coaching, but I also was doing a lot of fitness stuff. So I was, a spin instructor, a personal trainer, and so the spin instructor part got my ego because it gave me instant validation of what I was doing for these people because I could see all the people in my class that come every day with me. I'm seeing them lose the weight. You know, I'm seeing the lady lose 60 pounds. I see a husband and wife lose 120 pounds, all because they pick up my class every day, right? So that fed my ego. And the fact that the people was treating me like a rock star fed my ego. And so, you know, I saw the blessings. And so, but I also heard God saying, I need you to ease out of that and focus on the life coaching. And so a lot of times I couldn't see the the benefits instantly like I did with the health coach and the fitness. So he was like, this is your assignment. You, once you understand this is your assignment, you can go back to the fitness. But right now, your assignment is to be of service to our men and women who are looking to be better people.
Yeah.
And
Now,
so I did be obedient to that.
quick question. Of course, once again, the the perception is life coach, holistic health. You Everybody expects you to have your stuff together. But do you fail? And if so, how often
Do I do what?
do you fail?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how do you deal with
So
those failures, brother?
um, I'm honest with myself. I'm honest with myself to say what I did wrong that made me fail. But I also understand failure is part of the journey. Because every time I grow, I know my vision is for myself. So my vision for me is to create a seven-figure online platform to inspire, educate, and empower each person to be the greatest person they can be, mind, body, and spirit. So that's my vision. Um, I fail at times because I have to understand I have to create passive income. In the beginning, everything I did was be for service. So then, therefore, if I'm slow on getting uh, clients because of you know the uh, the prices going up or stuff like that, or people losing their jobs, then I'm not getting the income. But how am I going to continue to do what I need to do if I ain't get income coming in?
Right.
So I had to figure. So in terms when I was in the hospital, that was part of my failure. Even I got sick, when I got out the hospital, I had nobody come. I couldn't teach. I couldn't train. I had no clients at the time, life coaching, because everybody had edged out. So I saw everything for me was fee for service. So now I got to start over from scratch, brother.
Mm.
And, and I was like, so I had to humble myself. And so I started serving at a restaurant because that gave me instant cash as I could, so I could start building back up. And I started hustling, um, trying to build my clients up again. But then what happened, which was the blessing, was when I opened my laptop, a young lady had reached out to me about co-authoring a book.
Mm.
And so that happened right after I got to the hospital as well. So I instantly started doing that. And then that was part of the beginning of the evolution,
Yeah.
because now I got something to focus on. So I typed my part up, and it was an Amazon bestseller. And then from there, we did like a little tour. So that helped me see what I needed to do.
Yeah.
So if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be where I'm going to right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, quick question. And we just going to have a conversation. You could tell me it ain't my business. We could move on. But do you have a significant other?
No, I my my. It's so funny you said that, because the love of my life recently died 3 weeks ago. So yeah,
That's very, very recent, brother. I'm definitely sorry to hear that.
yeah. So um, she was my first love, and everything like that. And but and I'm being very transparent. You know, we we struggled on. You know, we had it on off because our constantly was growing as a person, and sometimes we were not in alignment. But she had my heart,
Right.
and so if I was to try to date other people, the reality was I was always emotionally unavailable because she had my heart.
Right. So,
So now,
yeah, go ahead.
so now that she transitioned, now that she transitioned, my heart is free, and now I'm able to move forward. And and during that time, I've done the work on myself. So now the person who comes to my life now is truly gonna get the best version of me.
So, two things. Let's just take it two steps back. First of all, it's a hell of a way to look at it, right? Because what a lot of people, including myself, would have been comfortable hearing is the love of my life passed away recently, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to give that part of me again because it was reserved for. Like that. That sounds what a lot of people would look forward or even be comfortable hearing. Um, but for you to say now I'm freed up to be able to not have that tie, it's like kind of trying to find the silver lining in the situation, right? But that had to be a painful thing to deal with, knowing that y'all went back and forth and that you never got an opportunity to make it work if that person, indeed was the love of your life. How, and life coach, I'm not trying to get all in, but how do you deal with that burden? Because that's different, brother. That's very different.
I'm not gonna lie. It was, she had cancer,
Okay.
right? And so, and what was crazy was she was diagnosed 2 years ago, and I found out that she was diagnosed the same day I found out my mom was diagnosed. So the two ladies of my life, my mom and her, was diagnosed with breast cancer at the same time. Fortunately for my mom, it was this stage one, so she's okay. At the time, she was stage two, and then she went to remission, and um, I was the only one who really would check in, make sure she was okay, and that's when I understood that my heart was still with her, and all that. And so towards the past, maybe like the past month, I had every intention to go see her, um, but life happened where I got busy, so I couldn't see her. But she called me, and, and when she called me, she knew at that time it was ending. So she just wanted to hear my voice one last time before that happened. And so we talked and we expressed, our love for each other. We expressed the fact that, you know, it's unfortunate that we couldn't never get it right, but you know, uh, we don't question it because, at the end of the day, we were true friends with each other at the same time. So even though I knew at that time, I knew that that phone call I get, it would say that she's going to die or she had she had expired. When I found out, I was no good. I was
Mm.
for like I was no good for like 2 days. And, and
So,
go ahead.
first of all, man, let me commend you on the strength that it takes to be able to have that. Now, I mean, and first of all, let me take it away from you. Sorry that this happened to you, but to your mother, to get the diagnosis and continue to fight to live. For the young lady who got the diagnosis, who life expired, and have to deal with knowing that that was going to happen. Those are the strong people,
Mhm.
right? Those are the strong ones. But for us to have to witness knowing that we're going to have to let go at some point, that's sometimes the hardest thing to do. Now, we talk about this life coach, we talk about all these things that you do for everybody else and what you do then. But in those moments, for you to even speak so openly about it now is powerful. But in those moments, man, how how was you just not out of your mind? I mean, I understand. Well, for one, and I'm sorry, I understand that y'all got to have some closure. You got to have the conversation I'm sure was like a weight off of your chest. But still knowing that it happened, how are you able to function and still?
um, once once I posted it on social media that she had passed, I got a phone call instantly. I got a phone call from my cousin. So my cousin is my prayer partner. So we talk every week for an hour. We talk about our lives. We try to hold each other accountable, and then we pray for each other, right? So she knew better than anybody how I felt about this young lady. So she called me and she was like, "How are you doing?" And I was like, "Not good," And she talked to me, and then that conversation helped me because at the end of the day, she said you did everything you were supposed to have done. You know, you was always there for her. You was always there for the daughter. So you did everything you were supposed to do as a man. And so she said, and at the end of the day, for her to make that phone call to talk to you showed you that how much she cared for you as as someone in her life. So you should be happy to know that she's gone on, but you know that she loves you dearly, just like you love her dearly. And so now, like you said, it gives you closure and space to move forward and hopefully attract that person for you now that you have done all this work on yourself to be a better person. And so when she had that conversation with me, that really helped me out a lot. And then, I was good.
Yeah. Well, so here, one of the things that we as black men will often say, even when we're not, is "I'm good," right?
Exactly.
Um, so thank you for that statement. Um, I don't know you well enough to question it, but I would really ask you, um, are you still going through that process? Are you still allowing yourself to go through that emotional process,
Absolutely.
or are you constantly speaking the "I'm good"?
No, no. I allow myself to feel. So if it's a song that was like our song, I'm gonna allow myself to feel because if I try to hold it in, it's not doing me no justice. You know what I'm saying? Um, or if it's a picture that comes up on social media that shows her and I, and it makes me feel some kind of way, I allow myself to feel. You know, the one thing I have learned in this process of being a life coach is that it doesn't do me no good trying to hold in my emotions because I want everybody to think I'm good. Or I allow myself to feel whenever I need to feel whatever I need to feel.
And I'm really,
I,
I mean,
but I but I appreciate your question, you know, because a lot of times, and regardless of the fact how well you know me or not, the fact that you have the compassion to ask me that shows us a lot about who you are as a man, as a person.
but I love the way that you spent that to give me some credit and thank you. Thank you. I'll take it. But you know, when we're going through these emotions and these feelings, you know, one of the things that we all know is what it feels like to lose a loved one at some point. But then to lose someone that you still have that entanglement, that heart tie with, that that synergy that
Right.
won't change is devastating, because one of the things that people don't think about, you know, life coach or not, mental health advocate or not, that there's nowhere to go to escape what happens in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no there's no voices to drowned out the sound of the conversation and the laughter that you once heard, or whatever it may be. And when I asked you, you know, like, are you allowing yourself to go through the emotions? Are you allowing yourself to feel? Because, you know, we want to speak affirmations and say, hey, I'm good. I'm good even if I'm not, because I'm going to be good, but I know it's coming. But one of the things that I realized, man, is that we're masking our pain
Mm-hmm.
until it comes out in a different way,
Absolutely.
right? And that comes out with lashing out to people, or hurt self hurt, right? Hurting others,
Mm-hmm.
becoming cold and bitter, or shutting down parts of you that are the most treasured parts that you feel like you need to protect, because the person who treasured them the most is no longer there.
Right.
Um, it's very scary, and it's it's that pit feeling in your stomach, um, that that does hurt. But one of the things that I want to kind of, and I'm sorry, because I'm hearing things and I'm trying to conversate. One of the one of the things that real talk. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
Um, so your teachings and your practice that that you go through with people on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
Your training,
Yeah.
as you said, like you're a trainer. And what you've been doing is you've been training people to deal with life as life was happening to you. Um, and it's definitely different, you know, from being the coach to actually being the player on the field. And
Mm-hmm.
um, one of the things, one of the things that I want to say to you, and I don't know whatever reason, is it's okay not to be okay, right?
I
Right.
appreciate it.
And, and even the coach could break down. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that you've done that, and I know that you've mentioned other people to do that for you. But yeah, man.
I'm not gonna say I don't, 'cause I do. Um, and sometimes, you know, I just allow myself just to lie there, and just uh, feel what I feel. and get it out. So some days, I just if I don't have a if my clients is not until the evening, I might just stay home in the daytime if I'm feeling any type of way and just be in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll go to the park and walk because I feel like it's like a walking. Um, when I'm walking and walking with God at the same time, seeking the God, walking meditation. So I'm walking with Him in the park, and as I walk and feel at the same time. So people see me and might say, "Okay, what's wrong with him?" Because they might see a tear come down my eye or whatever, down my face. But it's because I'm doing the walking meditation and I'm allowing Him to speak to me during that time and say it's gonna be okay, and allow yourself to feel it. So I go to the park and walk the trail, and whatever feeling I have, I just let it out.
And brother, and I have to, now this is where I will give you yours. It takes a strong man um, to endure what you're enduring, period. Some people do it because they don't have a choice, and some people go through it with integrity and their head held up because they know that there's a lesson, there's a blessing. At least you've had these experiences. You listen for God's voice. You look for those answers. But there's a lot of people who just tuck their head under the covers, man, and just roll around and wish that they could die. And then when they realize they're not, they jump up and be like, "Okay, well, damn, now I gotta live."
Right.
You know. And I really commend you, brother, for not burying your head in the sand and waiting to live.
Yeah.
Uh,
And at the end of the day, brother, I'm still on assignment, and so as I take the time for myself to feel what I gotta feel, I still gotta fulfill my assignment that I've been put here for. So you know, work gotta be done. People gotta be helped. Our community gotta be helped. So
but what about you though? Like you worried about everybody else, like and that goes back to the sinking ship theory, right? You can't keep nobody else's boat afloat if yours is sinking. But I understand. I got to get back to what I got to do. There's people who need this and people who need that. But what about you? Like,
you know,
do
because the people who know me closely know if I'm lying to them. So if they call me, that's why nobody, people who really want to know how I feel, don't text me. They're calling me
mm,
because they want to hear my voice because you can say anything via text.
right?
And so they'll call me because they want to hear the tone of my voice. And so they could tell by the tone of my voice if I'm lying or not. And so if I say I'm good, but the tone don't sound right, they're gonna push back. Like how you ask me follow-up questions, that's what they do. And they say, "Are you truly good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." They're like, "No," because the way you responding back to me don't sound good.
Mm.
So we're gonna sit here on this phone
Until somebody breaks, huh?
until somebody break, and I'll finally break down. And I was like, "Okay," because they're not gonna get off the phone because they are concerned about me, and they like, "You are there for everybody else. We're gonna be here for you."
Yeah. And
And
it's
see,
it's just,
and see,
it's just so crazy to hear you.
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And see, I'm a true Aquarius. So I'm Aquarius. So we are the natural, the most humanitarian people, and we'll give, 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 but we don't want to be a burden to nobody else, which is crazy. And so that's something I'm learning to go through, and that's part of my journey because God knows what the assignment is for me. So in that, I have to learn how to be able to release and allow people to be there for me as I'll be there for everybody else. And so the core people are not going to allow me to say I'm okay. They're going to be they're going to be on me. And if I go ghost where I'm not seen, they're like, either we're going to come see you or you better come see me.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, pop up on you like, yeah, look at me. Um, and yeah, man. I mean, that's very important. And one of the things that I'm really getting from this is somebody who has dedicated their life to taking care of other people and building up, breaking generational curses, breaking into basically their demons and allowing them to free themselves from things that has been holding them back and holding them down for however long it may have been, is that you, in the process of doing all of this with everybody else, are still dealing with life. Now, we mentioned the love of your life who would transition, right? But you also touched on your mother being diagnosed, which had to be a ridiculously scary feeling as well.
Hmm.
And you're going through all of this,
Yeah.
and you're still smiling in people's faces and telling them to be better and pull your shoulders back, and they in there crying about how their cat gets on their nerves and their husband irritates them, and you're going through all of this, and you're still smiling at these people trying to help them pull back the layers
Yeah.
because it's an assignment.
My son, bro.
Yeah. Now,
But
listen,
but
brother.
but but see, by this time, my mom is good.
Okay.
So now by this time, my mom's good. So we had. So it's funny because she didn't really want to tell me. She didn't want to tell me because I'm far away from her. For one, two, she would thought I was gonna have her on all some kind of holistic diets because
Right.
I was. So she didn't want me to know because of that. So if it were for my father saying, "You better tell your son that you know what's going on," that's how I found out. So I was like, "All right, I ain't gonna tell you what to do. You know, I'm just going." So I just called every day just to make sure she was good. And once she had
Now,
the surgery, once she had the surgery, um, she's good. She just got to take a pill every day for 5 years or whatever.
yeah. Now, being so once again, we're right back at it, right? So not only are you dealing with the situation that you did with the love of your life and the diagnosis of your mother, but you're also distant from your mother. She's all the way out
Hmm.
there. So
She's in Cleveland. I'm
she's
in
in Cleveland. You're in Atlanta.
Mhm.
You're getting this information the whole time. You're still smiling at people and telling them, "Hey, you got to peel back the layer. You can do this. You can do this," and and you're still building everybody up. This is what we. The reason that I wanted to have this conversation with you and real people like you is because there's people who go outside and find their tire flat and damn the world. And I don't care what nobody else is going through. Oh my God, my life is, if it ain't one thing, it's the other. If it's not, da 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 da. But one of the things that I'm really catching from everything that you've been saying, man, is that your perspective and your belief in the greater good
Mhm.
is what is. Am I wrong? Is that what?
No, I'm a very spiritual dude. So I really believe that while I'm here, my calling on this earth is to be a vessel for uh, our men and women of color to help them be their best selves. So um, I take that seriously, um, and I feel that the stuff that he gives me that are hurtful for me, he also knows that my inner strength of me able to handle it, but also knows that I have a support system around me that's going to make sure I'm okay because he already know how I'm gonna operate. God already know how I'm gonna operate. I'm gonna
Right.
keep pushing forward, right? So he just gotta make sure I have my tribe of people do their part to make sure I'm okay because
Now,
I'm I'm gonna push forward regardless. And
now,
I think I got that from my father.
yeah,
I
So you got the push forward mentality that I'm gonna get it from pops, huh?
Absolutely.
And that's dope. But now, so there's 1,000 different questions, man. And at this point, I'm feeling like an hour is not long enough to do what I need to do. But technically, we did have some technical difficulties. But what I want to do, man, is I also want to make sure that if anybody's watching this and y'all have any questions, please put your questions in the comments, and let's see if we could, you know, get your questions answered. And if you feel like you want to come on the screen and actually speak to this brother directly, you could always hit the request, and we'll pull you up as well. So you can have a question, but you know, I don't want to just keep it one sided because I'm sure that there's some things that he said that kind of struck y'all. If y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask the questions. If you want to be pulled up on camera and ask them directly, hit the request, and I'll pull you up. But yeah, man. You know, there's a couple of things that we kind of didn't get into. We didn't get into the book very much, and just real quick, what is the, because you were a co-author in the book.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Now, what does the book entail?
Well, the book is called 20 Beautiful Men, and it's 20 males that wrote a short story about their journey. But most of us were either life coaches, uh, public speakers, uh, personal trainers, something like that. So, and we just told our story of how we become who we are.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna be in part two, is what you were saying, because there's gonna be a follow up, and then you're gonna be like, reality, Greg Delaney, we need you.
Absolutely.
Say less. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Now, one of my things that you know, man, I heard you mention a lot is your spirituality and God.
Mhm.
Um, Now, when you have people who don't have a support group of people or friends or family who is there who could lift them up, what do you suggest to those people when they start going through these times and if they don't have access or to someone like you, and they really are feeling like they're in the thick of it by themselves, and that it's just them against the world? What because if anything at this point, I believe everybody should take some advice from you, because the things that you have went through, brother, and still be smiling on this live, um it works. But what would you tell someone who doesn't have that, or who feels that they don't have that support group, and they feel like they're in it by themselves and it's them against the world?
um, I asked them where they at spiritually, and
Mm.
if they said that they believe in a higher power, whether it's God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever the situation may be, who it is for them, I said connect with them. So then find you a space in your place and spend some time with them and let them be the vessel that pour into you and during that time. What I also, what I told, I tell you this, I had a client and he was a pillar of strength as he was um, helping his grandmother and helping his grandmother. His mom had died maybe like a year or two ago, so he got a lot going on. Plus, he got this job. He's married, so he was trying to do all this stuff and still getting coached by me. And, and one of the things I told him to do was to allow himself to spend some time with his mother. And so he had a room in his house where he had a picture of his mother. I said, go in that room, close that door, and talk to her. Because even though she's gone physically, the spirit is still there. And let her talk to you. And so therefore you always know that you're not alone. Because in the physical world, yes, you might be alone, but in the spiritual world, she's still there. And she can still talk to you and tell you what you need to do or what you need to hear. And sometimes I might feel it, and then I'll say something to him like, just know your mother's proud of you. She's seeing you and she's watching over you and seeing the man you are becoming and stuff that you're doing and the leader that you're becoming, and she's proud of you. And then they'll get this breakdown. But I said, take the time to spend time with your mom. Talk to her because she, through the spirit, could tell you what you need to hear so you can move forward and not feel like you're alone. And that's what he did.
Yeah. That sounds like some really amazing advice, man. And I hope when it comes to the love of your life, and
I
you,
do.
you,
I do.
you knew I was bringing it back.
I
You
know
knew
you
I was
did.
going to spin the block.
I was ready for you.
Hey,
I was ready for you.
hey,
So I do.
and the thing about this is, man, is that I am this is why I wanted to do this because I'm in awe of some of the people I get to meet, some of the conversations, and some of the the I've been in the industry and all of that, but being a poet and all this stuff. I've done a lot, man. There's been some amazing people that I've crossed in my life, and everybody has a story. But one of the things that I really love is for people to watch someone who is in a position of trust, right? And to hear that you also have your struggles, that you also have your feels, and that it don't always just go the way that you planned. It's not like you sit down in the mirror and you tell yourself like, all right, let it out, and it happens that way. That you also need your support group,
Mm-hmm.
and that you found ways to work for yourself, man. I think that that's really dope for people to see that even the people who have the answers have questions.
Absolutely. Because when you reached out to me, that was my intention. You know, I wanted to be as completely transparent as possible because I think a lot of times, whether it's a psychiatrist or a life coach, people tend to think we have all the answers. We have nothing going on wrong, and that's far from the truth. So if I could be completely transparent and let you see how I make it through, then it will show you that I'm no different than you are. So if I can make it through, you can too. All difference is that I have the tools, from being taught how to be a life coach, to use it on myself, but also know to humble myself enough to know that I need help from other people as well.
And with that being said, you choose to continue to move forward. You have faith that things will be better. You you will yourself to better places is what it sounds like.
Yes, sir.
Um, and I also hope that the people who are paying attention and listening um, are knowing that life is if you can't change your situation, change your mind. You know,
Mm-hmm.
change your perspective on how you see a lot of things. It kind of helps you with how you move day to day. And I'm glad, man. I'm glad that you decided to come on here and be completely transparent because the bad part about it is that we're in a society where a lot of people would rather have you believe that they got all the answers and that there is no questions and that we don't fail and that I'm good. And I just want you to see the end result. I don't want you to see of the painstaking and the things that I take away from myself to pour into you or the struggles that I deal with in the process of trying to make someone else whole. You know, it's crazy to be able to balance that and play that, but that's where your faith in God comes in, I would imagine.
Absolutely. And before we shut this down, everything, my attention was based on the vibe of this conversation. I want to flip the script on you, and I'm going to invite you to do my video podcast, Conversations with Coach Kevin, so there everybody get to know who you are and your journey. And I'm a big poetry guy, so I love poetry. So the fact that you're a poet is something that I want to dive into as well. And the fact that you are a mental health advocate, of course, that's our thing together that we both understand the importance of. So I think I want to be able to dive into the conversation with you and showcase my attention. Um, I interview people is uh, mainstream media don't want to showcase black men in a positive light.
Well, you know what, man? I got to check my itinerary. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm joking. Yes, absolutely, man. And I would be honored, because the reason I'm even here, man, is that I've been boxing with God here lately, um, about my voice and using my gift and allowing Him to use me, and you know, trying to decipher if it was going to be a poetry stage, a poetry show, or what it was going to be, and really got a call from a good friend who reminded me of my God given gift, and everything that has happened up to this point has led me in the right direction, which has got me to you, which has got us here on this conversation. And everything that we do, we're glorifying His name, but also reminding people to find their strength in their spirituality, as well as the mental health of positive thinking and um, things that come out of that. But man, I would love and I would be honored to be a part of your show. Um,
I'm gonna reach out to you for sure, but I want you to understand too. Um, you're two for two. You know, two shows, two great jobs, brother. You got the best out of me today.
you said
The most out of me.
I got the what?
The
I'm
best
sorry.
out of me. The most out of me today. You know, I, I was very, very transparent, and you know, so for you to get us to, for us to feel comfortable, it was easier for Gerard to feel comfortable with you because y'all knew each other from childhood. But for me to feel comfortable with you, to be this transparent, that speaks highly of who you are. And
Thank you, man.
so then therefore it's just for me, being the spiritual guy I am, this was giving you confirmation of what you're supposed to be doing. Because in a way, our conversations, you're allowing us to heal as well, more. And so if I can say anything to you, you right in line of what he's asking you to do, and you're doing a good
Well,
job.
thank you, sir. I receive it, and I'm in alignment for a reason, man. And I'm really grateful that what. So let me tell you my affirmation and my prayer is, God, I am prepared for your abundant blessings and for me to be the example of how great you are. I'm
Mm-hmm.
prepared.
Mm-hmm.
God, I am ready for your abundant blessings, for you to use me as a vessel to prove how amazing your blessings are. And paying attention, man, I've always been in alignment. And even when it didn't feel right for me, I've always done what I knew he was pulling me to do. Now it took me some, I don't know, bumping heads and all of that to get here, man. But I really appreciate it, and I thank God for you, and I thank you for your words, man. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. I mean, I am going to probably call you and be like, man, look, I feel sad because I'm going through. I consistently go through. I'm a Taurus to the heart. Taurus moon, Taurus, right? Whatever the Taurus is, I'm that guy. And I was always raised to be that man. And I was always raised to pull your shoulders back, stick your chest out. But I was raised by nothing but women, so I'm emotional too. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel hard, but I
Yeah,
fight hard.
I'm gonna tell you,
And
like I told Gerard. I got your information now. I'm gonna check in on you. You might get a DM from me saying how you feeling. If you need to talk, you need to talk because after your interview with Gerard, I instantly went to him and sent him a message based on what you said to him, and he he felt it, and the fact that a lot of times, even though I'm a few years older than you guys, y'all still need, especially those who grew up with women, y'all still need that male figure that might be a little bit older than you to talk to and pour into you. Just like you try to pour into everybody else too. So this connection to here is like, okay, let somebody that's in alignment with me be someone that can pour into me as well.
but we got work to do, brother. Ain't no God don't make no mistakes.
What's
And
that?
here's the thing. I got some people in Atlanta, and I might have to just show up on you. And if you're ever in Houston, brother, we got a show to do. We got conversations to have. There's going to be a lot of synergies that come from this because, once again, the blessings are what it is.
It's funny you said that because I do have friends in Houston. My first friend in childhood, him and his family live in Houston, and then some of my friends from college live in Houston. So there ain't nothing but a thing to come down there.
Hey, man, I'm here by way of Denver, but I'm in Houston. So, I look forward to not only just this, but staying in alignment with you, communicating with you. And then what I'm going to do is that there's going to be times, man, where I actually pull you into shows and ask for your advice on things, reach out to you and ask you to do, a segment or speak to somebody that we spoke to previously and see if there's like any help or if I could get someone to guide you in directions. If there's anything that I could do to assist in helping you move forward, man, and continuing in your dream and your passion, your God-given talents. I'm in alignment, and I don't know if he sent you a helper or if he sent me one, but I know that we will stay in alignment, brother. And I'm very grateful for you, and thank you for being a part of
Thank you,
this.
brother. I really appreciate you as well. And we're going to stay connected.
Yes, sir. You have a great day and a great evening, and we'll speak soon.
All right, brother. Take it easy.
Hey, name of the book,
20 Beautiful Men.
20 Beautiful Men. You can find it on Amazon.
Go to my website, kevinlthorntonconsulting.com.
Your social media.
I am at the Wellness Architect. That's IG and TikTok. Kevin Thornton on Facebook.
Hey, look, this is real conversations with real people who change real lives and do real things. Mr. Kevin Thornton, thank you, sir.
Peace.
Appreciate it. Amazing show. Everything that we thought it would be, man. Like, it's in alignment. And one of the things that I want y'all to really take from this, man, is that all of these individuals that we're bringing up, they don't have a specific story. I'm not picking people randomly who I like, who like me. This happened to come from the previous interview. But pay attention to how these people move and what's going on in their life. And if they are successful or even their failures, if it's something you could apply to your life, something that you could take from that and add to yours, it ain't got to be all the answers, right? But if there's something that you feel, and if you know this, if you got a story, if you really have a conversation, if there's something that you really want to talk about, and it ain't got to be your success story, it ain't got to be promotion of your business or your book. Let's talk and know that there's somebody here who's going to have that conversation with you. Don't get me wrong. We ain't going to, do the fluffy stuff. We ain't going to come in with, pillows and feathers and just make it all soft and fluffy for you. Sometimes it may get real. Sometimes it may get real ugly. But at the same time, everything that we're doing will be real beneficial because mental health is a thing. And sometimes, like you heard him say, sometimes you just want to be heard. You just want to release. And yes, dreamy, 223, aka the wife. Yes, ma'am. What's your question? And also, once again, please type in your question if you have any questions. But just make sure that you, like I said, that you're pulling from this. And if you do want to be a part of the show, send it in the inbox and let me know. Let me know that it's something that you want to be a part of, that you do want to have a conversation. And it's not going to be, hopefully, not all depressing, not all sad stories. We're looking for the victories. We're looking for the failures. We're looking for the triumphs. We're looking for everything to happen because we all go through it. Now, I'm waiting for the question. Um, but no question now. All right. So once again, please feel free to inbox me if you want to be a part of the show. We'll schedule you out. We do have a couple of people who are scheduled out, but you always could pop in and have a conversation. Matter of fact, if you want to pop in and have a conversation now, I got a little bit of time. But we're definitely here for it, man. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all who listen. Share this with somebody. And if you know people who are going through the struggle, who just want to be heard or may have a similar story, share that with them too. Also, follow that man. Get in alignment with him. He's obviously somebody that we need to know. I am the voice, Mr. Reality, a.k.a. Greg Delaney. Well, I guess I'm Greg Delaney, a.k.a. the voice, Mr. Reality. Whatever it may be, we're going to do this each and every Thursday, man. It's real talk, real conversation, real people. See y'all soon.